Welcome everybody. Today we're going to be making a jar of fireflies for the summer, and this is just a regular glass jar. I'm using some of this, I think it's a book binding netting, and it's kind of like a cheesecloth. And so I'm showing you here the edges. I didn't cut them straight, they're just a little kind of rough, organic. And now I am drawing a window that I'm going to be cutting out so we can see inside the jar of our fireflies. I'm taking a little bit of Mod Podge to adhere the cloth to the jar, and I just cover this piece entirely and just place it directly onto the jar. I really enjoyed this process because you can mold this cloth any way that you want it, and you know, you can kind of shape the edges any way, and it was a lot of fun. I think I'll be using a little bit more of this technique in the future. Now I do apply a second coat of Mod Podge to the entire piece. I started with some dark brown paint, just a little bit around the edges, but I felt like it was a little stark, and so I decided to use the coffee and water mixture and continue to give it some, shading and variation. And eventually I end up painting the entire thing in the coffee stain, which I'm not sure why I didn't start doing, because I really love using coffee stain. But, oh, and then you'll see the lid there that I just took off. I lost a little bit of footage. So right there in that top left corner is the lid. I had used the Waverly chalk paint in Truffle and just sponged it on so it would stick well to the metal lid there. And so here I am just taking more of the coffee stain. I really enjoyed this technique. It's just really beautiful. I love it. And I really like using this mesh, and so maybe I can create some more jars like this for the summer, and so we'll see. But yeah, for now I'm just using coffee stain. And of course I'm going to be using moss with this project, and there's two reasons. One is to cover up the seam from that bookbinding mesh along the back, and also just to add interest inside of the jar as well, to use as like a background. And so I use that, and then also just a couple of little pieces of a moss. So we have the Spanish moss there, and then I'll be using a little bit more of that spongy kind of moss with some green in it, and that will tie in with some of the grass ribbon that I'm going to be using here in a minute. And so here's a little bit of the moss I was talking about. It's a spongy moss, and it has a little bit more of a green to it that's going to go with the rest of the project. And I really like this stuff. Here is some grass. I know it looks like raffia. I didn't purchase it as raffia. I thrifted it, and it's really more of a natural native grass that I had got from a thrift store. And so I'm just going to put just a couple of strands down there, not too much. And it gives a little bit of variation, but you can still see the texture of the moss. And here I am taking everything out because I'm realizing soon enough that I'm going to be using some little fairy lights in here, and I want to make sure that everything is set correctly so you can see, see all parts of the project. And I just love assemblages. It's one of my most favorite things to do. So, okay, I did lose a little bit more footage here of this tag. It is a Tim Holtz ephemera, and it is a part of their specimen ephemera. And so I thought it went pretty well with this project. And so it's just a simple tag that I put together. You will be able to see that in the final results. And so I was able to get this grass tied around very gently, and it does look a little wild, but I end up giving it a little bit of trim. And of course you're going to get to see the end result here in just a bit. Now I'm creating a little bit of a bow, and I'm just kind of going for it. I'm not measuring or anything. I'm just throwing it all together and wrapping some of that grass around. I like using this grass because it's pretty easy to work with, even though it looks kind of wild. But yeah, so I just throw it together, and it has kind of a nice wild natural look, and so that's a lot of fun. Well guys, that's it for this project. I really want to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. These are my Fireflys, and I want to make more. They're so much fun, super easy, low cost, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Bye.